Hi, I'm Jim Raffle. Welcome to this episode of the Jim and Shelby Show, all things print podcast. I'm joined by,
Shelby Sapusik, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
well, thank you and happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's quite a tree you got there. And
When we were traveling last weekend, our clients were talking about how many trees that they have in their house.
oh
This is
yeah,
my upstairs tree.
this is your upstairs tree.
I have
So
a
you have at least
downstairs.
two, right?
I have two.
Okay. And you have
Two
quite a
full-size
Christmas
ones.
you have quite a Christmas village, but that would be a whole different episode.
Yeah, I do.
So I like your hat. That's
Thank you.
it's very Christmassy. I have a hat on, which we'll actually discuss in this episode. So what is this episode?
I think the way that we've figured out what we're going to do, we want to do a little recap of what our 2025 podcast has been like, and then we're going to talk a little bit about 2026. And I know you have a recap in mind, so I'm going to let you go with that. I'll chime in, and otherwise, I'll just be over here looking Christmassy.
Yeah, and I don't want I think I got the episode count right, but it's 20 something. Let's just go with
That's
that.
fine.
So we managed 20 something episodes this year, which I think is pretty good because our goal is to do one every other week, which would be 52 divided by
Oh, don't
26.
do math.
So
Don't do
what?
math.
Merry Christmas, math time. And so I just thought I'd kind of run through. I took a little time this morning and I made some notes. We started off on January 13th of this year with our guest Clark Omholt from TrueHue. And
Yep.
it was neat to have a guest because we talked about monitor calibration with his app, which now I think is available iPhone, Android, Mac, PC. So they've really branched out.
And throughout the year, when we've been doing our training, we have been showing TrueWho as a method of doing monitor calibration to our students.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, then in later in January, we did a what I think was a really fun episode. It might be my favorite all year. I had literally forgotten about it till I went back and looked, and I was like, "Oh yeah!" I was visiting your home where your
Yes.
downstairs tree is, also is your lab.
It wasn't then though, because I think this was probably February.
Oh, might have been. You're right. Yep. And so we gave people a tour of your lab, and then we did some hands-on demos. We made some mugs, you made some socks, we talked about
Good.
color. It
Yeah.
was actually a really kind of a cool episode. If you missed that one, I'd go back and watch it. Episode two.
Right,
That was
because my fiance and I had bought our house about 6 months beforehand, and that space was actually like a carpenter's wood shop when we bought it. And we redid it all, put in ceiling and appropriate lighting, and painted the walls, and then moved all my equipment in. And now it is a functioning lab.
and he was also the cameraman for that episode.
He was, he
So that was
was.
that was kind of fun. We were able to both get in there.
Mhm.
Um, and then I've got some notes here about episode 6 and episode 9. In both of those episodes, we talked about and covered AI, specifically AI as it relates to color.
Mhm.
And so, my guess is if we went back and watched those episodes, things have changed, but maybe not. I mean, but if you're looking for information on AI, free information on AI, you can go back and look at episodes 6 and 9. Um,
And this year, we also worked with Printing United to actually do a workshop on AI and color management. And it went live, I think, in May or June this year. So that's available on the iLearningPlus.org program.
and it's been one of their best sellers.
I didn't know that.
Mhm. I only know because I see the royalty checks. Um, then we had another fun episode, episode 10. Uh,
Which one
we
was
were,
that?
we were driving back in my vehicle from
Uh,
Minneapolis, and we decided to record an episode like some of those comedy shows where I was driving and you were the passenger.
well,
And
4 hours in the car with you, Jim. We needed to do something to take my mind off of things and not cause us to crash the car. I'm kidding.
oh
I'm
my God, wow.
joking.
And with that note, I'm gonna make a transition and then come back to some of my other notes here. Um, Trade shows. Oh my God, did we hit the trade shows?
We
We
did. And
have
I don't think we actually, I don't know that we plan to do as many.
eight.
Yeah,
Eight.
yeah,
Eight. Is that
yeah,
eight? Eight.
yeah.
I'm doing math
But
again. We had 8 episodes related to trade shows. We started early. You're right. I think that the second January episode would have been episode 3, maybe. Um, I don't know. It was West Coast Art and Frames though, and so I was there solo. We did a lot of dividing and conquering last year. Episode 8, we are at ISA, which in our wrap up here, we're going to talk a little bit about ISA. Episode 14, we were at UV Energize in September. Episodes 16, 17, and 18 were Branding United. That show is so big and we got so much that it took 3 episodes to use it all
Mhm.
up.
Yep.
19 was a very, well, it wasn't a short episode, but it was very focused on Graphics Pro Expo in Charlotte, where we went down. And then the only thing I think we recorded there, other than an intro to a different episode, was you blasting glass
Mhm.
with Stephanie from the Country Port
It
Screen.
was a lot of fun. That was something I'd never experienced before.
Yeah,
I know that you did that with her at UV
I
Energized, and I
did.
just never got an opportunity. So
Mhm.
this was my turn, and I'm glad we got it on camera.
Yeah, yeah. You've shown in previous episodes, you've shown your ornament that you made. It's probably hanging on one of your trees, and
The
I showed
downstairs tree.
my my tumbler, which I made. And
Mhm.
then the last one was just recently, episode 20. You covered the Mamaki grand opening with PDS
Right.
equipment.
So, I mean, so what it was a UV base camp hosted by PDS Equipment and also the grand opening of Amaki's new Atlanta facility.
Right.
And it is huge. And in that episode, I actually do a walking tour of the facility,
Yep.
and it's impressive.
It is. It's very impressive. I enjoyed watching that episode, and I actually did. So we had a first in episode 12 in the middle of summer. We were visiting a client, which I'm going to talk about next, and we
Mhm.
recorded an episode sitting outside in Phoenix in August.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just
What were
noisy
we
inside or why
what
we
were we thinking?
do you remember why we decided to go sit out on this veranda? I mean, it was. I mean, I'm not like a big sweater, but I was sweating during that episode, and
Yeah,
I can't remember if it was just noisy. Why
it
I don't.
was. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and we also wanted people to know we were in Phoenix. We thought it would be cool. Haha, funny joke. The last episode I want to talk about from last year's episode 15, where we unveiled our collaboration with a company called Branded Bills. They make hats
Mhm.
among other apparel items.
Mhm.
And that was a really fun episode because I was actually there. They basically put these leather patches and other kinds of patches, but we were there specifically for these are real leather. So they import the hides, they specially treat them and things I can't really talk about, but ultimately they print them on a flatbed UV printer. And they were concerned with the colors they were getting because so much
Mhm.
of it is branded. That's literally their company
Right.
name, Branded Bills, their logo, if you're wondering what they look like. And so what was fun is that I went back a second time to do some work. And
I went with you the first time.
yeah, you did. But the second time we got to actually play around. We had decided we wanted some branded bills. And
Mhm.
because we're a vendor, they let us play around a little bit. And we came up with we tried a bunch of their different hats, bunch of different logo styles. We ultimately settled for our swag on this style. And then also, I could grab one, but a visor for women, which is a black visor with
Yeah, I have one, but I didn't move over.
got this same smaller version of our
Mhm.
logo.
Yep.
Um, and you know, please don't come begging for these. These are $60 hats. We do have a few, and we're giving them away to actual customers. And maybe we'll come up with a couple fun giveaways over the course of early next year. But yeah, that was a really fun episode to make as well. We talked about the hats and how they make them, and as much as we could talk about, there's some proprietary things there. But yeah, it's
And you bought, and just because you got these hats, you ended up getting this nice little hard hat box, which you left where? Where is it right now?
it's in transit back to me.
Right, yeah, you left it at a client site.
Right, because I brought hats for the client. I brought
I know.
swag.
I just find it interesting that it's like a big thing. It's like this
It's
big, and
not
you.
that big. It holds 6 hats without them getting crushed. So
Okay, well, it's a pretty hard thing to leave behind. But
not really, but that's okay if you think so. That's great. Um, so what do we got going next year? What's our first episode?
So our first episode, we're going to have a special guest on, and we're going to have Colin Sinclair McDermott, and we've talked. I've been on his podcast before. He was actually the captain of the All Stars team, the Printing United Expo All Stars team that I was on. And if you watched any of the Printing United episodes that we did this year, you would know what the All Stars are. But the big announcement there too, I mean, we didn't really talk about this in the episode, but we talk about his print mastermind program.
Mhm.
And that this is just coming out basically this week. I haven't even promoted it, but he has. I'm going to be one of the educators next year for his print mastermind. And it's international organization that does a lot of different types of educational videos about print. And I'm going to be basically their color management person for that. So some of the things I'll be talking about, and I'm reading his announcement here, is why your color isn't consistent, how to fix it, device color matching, creating a color confident production team, color as a sales advantage, and etc. So I'll be doing these 15 to 20-minute videos. And they will be published on that platform, and I'll be sharing them through ColorCasters as well. So it's going to be fun. We've already recorded this episode, so it's ready to go in January. Colin does a great interview, both as an interview and as interviewee. So I hope you hadn't had a lot of time before that to speak with Colin. So I think I let you do a lot of the back and forth during that episode because I spent a lot of time with him at Printing United. But I love having guests on our podcast, and this is a great one to kick off the year with.
Yeah, it was a fun episode to record. That's for sure. So the other thing that I want to make sure we cover is that we have some trade shows coming up
Oh, okay.
early in the year.
Right.
Um, Fast Signs at the end of January, which you'll be at with
In
Danielle Rich.
Charlotte.
Yep, in Charlotte with Danielle Rich. So if you're a Fast Signs franchisee,
Yep.
um,
Danielle from Nick's Sensors.
yep, they will have a tabletop in the exhibit area. Well, it's not
No,
even a tabletop, it's a
we
booth.
have a 10 by 10
The booth.
booth.
The
hmm
booth. And so, yeah, if you're a Fast Signs franchisee, make sure you stop by, or if you're a fellow exhibitor, make sure you stop by.
Yep.
Shelby might have some of these cool hats, and she might be willing to figure out a way to get you one. So,
Good to know. I'll ask about that later.
well, you should take some. I mean,
I
anyway,
probably should.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then let's see. Oh, we have tentative plans to be at the APA conference in Las
That's a bit.
Vegas.
That's in Las Vegas at the Horseshoe Casino in the last week of February.
And we'll be there. We're making a brief appearance. We we had seriously considered exhibiting there, but the Fast Signs opportunity was something new, and we decided to do that this year. But we are going to show up at APA
hmm
because our friends at PDFs are throwing quite a party, which I'm sure Shelby will promote when Steve asks you to. He almost always does. So,
Sure.
um, but yeah, we'll be there. We'll probably be at the show only Thursday. So if you're going to be at APA and you want to meet with us, we will probably only be on their show floor on Thursday because we both have fairly early flights Friday, and we're not getting in until sometime Wednesday, and may or may not come over to the show that day because we may take that afternoon to work together because we don't get to do that as much as we would like. And then of course all the other shows except. I think we've made a decision that for ColorCasters, ISA is a no-go this year.
This year.
Yeah, it's
That may
just
change in future years.
yeah, we have to make
Um,
this we have to make decisions, and we're kind of we've got these two shows right at the beginning of the year, and that's the budget, right?
I
So
think that there's my fiance,
that
Marcus.
that's our cameraman
Right.
that I mentioned from episode 2.
Yeah, I think it was episode 2. So I think we mentioned this in one of the podcast episodes this year when we talked about trade shows. With us being a small company, we kind of have to pick and choose. We can't spend the bulk of our weeks at shows because we need our consulting dollars to keep our company running. And so often we have to look at the year ahead and pick and choose. And if we decide to, like this year, we're deciding to do fast signs and APA, which we're planning to do that for 2026. We did not do those two shows in 2025. And so
Right.
something else had to go.
Yep.
And ISA is the one we decided that it's first of all, it's really close to those two shows. And
Very.
second, in the fall, I think the two we're going to pick are, and we've committed to basically is UV Energized and Printing United.
And it's been a good year for ColorCasters, so we want to say thank you. If you are a customer or you've referred people to us or you've just supported us in any other way, I've done some tentative looking at the numbers as I get ready, all the stuff for the accountant. Oh boy, what fun. Everyone's like, oh, you're home for 3 weeks. I'm like, yeah, it's not exactly a vacation. It's just working here instead of out there. But
Or on
we,
a cruise ship.
well, I'm coming to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, we had gotten this far into the episode without saying the word cruise, and I was getting concerned about you, Jim. So I thought I would throw it out there for you as a softball.
Okay. So the good news is that ColorCasters had a substantially better year than any year previously. We were up about 25%. So for those of you who own businesses, you realize how significant that is because our base number was already fairly decent sized. And so we needed it though. Like a lot of you, we had a rough year last year. The bottom line number, the top line number was great last year. The bottom line number was not. But we'll find out this year. It looks like things are much better. So hopefully our clients and friends had similar experience, and if you didn't, um, I think we can finally announce this. Shelby and I will sometime in 2026 release a book.
I think we did this last year, Jim.
But we're so close now. You
Okay.
literally have enough material to do a book right now. We just have two more chapters we want to do. I don't think they're even necessary, but we're going to do them. And so hopefully we can get that out sometime before the end of the year next year. And maybe there'll be something in there that will help you with your business, just kind of looking forward. Which means that I can probably continue to take lots of cruises and get lots of work done while I cruise. Actually, so now that we brought it, so yeah, I'll get a second one of these. So on Royal Caribbean, every time you accumulate a certain number of cruise points, you get one of these crystal blocks for the ship you're on.
Mhm.
Yeah, my wonderful planning. Guess what? I'm going to get the same ship again in January.
Oh, jeez. Hey, Jim,
Yeah.
since we're talking about ornaments on your desk, show them what I got you for Christmas.
Do I have to?
Yes. It's like the most perfect thing. It's like,
I was gonna show him the little turtle thing, but it's not up here. It's somewhere else in the
yeah,
house.
well, I did get you something else, but don't you say that all the time? Because your
No,
ego,
I say my job is to stand around and look important.
you've said that too. You've said I'm kind of a big deal, and don't we can get
That
your
would
wife
that
on
would
here
infer that
to
I don't, but
validate.
that would infer that I'm not the humble guy I am, Shelby.
I know, I know. Hmm. Anyway, I thought it was funny.
That might be
I
a
saw
good.
that and I was like, I there's only like one person who would really buy that for another person, and that person is me.
Oh wow. What else we got coming up in 2026?
Yeah, we have lots of things coming
We
up,
do.
but I think we've given them
Yeah.
enough for now. One of the things that
We have a lot of training booked. It's all
yeah,
private. We have a
we
lot of
do have
training
a
booked.
lot of training that is booked or going to be booked. We have a lot of irons in the fire that I think is going to keep us pretty busy, at least in Q1 so far. As we tell people, we book 6 to 8 weeks out, and I do not see that changing in 2026 right now, based on things we're trying to close for early 2026 already.
And all kidding aside, if you're thinking about working with us, um, don't think about it. April and early May are essentially gone for whatever reasons. There might be cruise ships involved. So literally, if you're thinking about working with us early in 26, book now because we are limited to a little bit of time in January, And February and March are still fairly flexible. There's like 1 week open in April, which someone will get, but that's it. There's 1 week sitting there. And then there's nothing till, the end of May. And I think we already have some training booked at the end of May. So there's not a lot of time in April or May. So if you need us, get us in early. And then in the summer we'll be completely available. So
Mhm.
yeah. That's all
Okay.
I got. I mean, again, I can't thank you guys enough for making this podcast actually pretty successful. It's not like we have hundreds of thousands of viewers or something crazy
No,
like
but you
that,
know
but
what? I just last week we were at a client site and someone told us that they heard about us through this podcast. So,
I
but I
think
also,
I think the exact way we heard was you didn't tell me you were going to have some print color bigwigs or something like that on
no, you said
campus.
that you didn't tell me that we'd be working with a color star or a color
Stop.
superstar.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Superstars. It was
Yeah.
plural.
But that's not the only way. I mean, I
I know.
took a call last week from someone who found us through a Delta E article I wrote for Printing United too.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's, us being out there, writing and on the social media networks and this podcast. And I hope next year through our book, let's get that thing published. That should be
Okay.
our that should be our personal New Year's resolution this year, Jim. The book has to get published.
Well,
I
we just kind of made a commitment to all however many listeners are going to see this. So, and
mean,
I generally try to follow through on commitments. So by the time we produce our 2026 end of year episode, we will have our book published. How's that?
I hope a lot sooner than that.
I, well, I'm giving us a little wiggle room. All right. Again, with that, thank you so much. I hope everyone has had a great holiday season, depending when you watch this, or that you will have a great holiday season, because I can't even remember when this publishes. And we look forward to seeing you again in 2026.